5:35. Took a little bit of extra effort to get out of bed this morning. I didn't really get great sleep, but doesn't matter. No one is going to come pull me out of bed. I am going to have to motivate myself, just like I always do. So here I am, ready to train. Hope you are too. I'm gonna eat this oatmeal. I will see you guys out there. Wait. Whoops. Oh, much better. All right, here I am in the gym, ready to squat. Oh, wait. All right, much better. Squat shoes are on, headphones are on, motivation is up. We are ready to squat. Woo! There we go. 225 for 8 reps. Last set of squats. It's around 620. So the hard part's done. Now I've just got incline bench press and some dumbbell press. So feel a lot better than when I started. Inertia is a crazy thing. So this video, I wanted to spend some time talking about something that I think about a lot and I haven't really spoken about yet on the channel, and that is motivating my children to move. Kids these days don't move nearly as much as they used to or as much as they should, it feels like, especially right now when it's cold in the wintertime and when school is in session. My kids have a lot of homework. The older two are in middle school. They tend to just get too many things on a daily basis to process and to work on at home away from school. And that's a shame, and that keeps them from being more active, or at least even trying to be more active in some cases. And it is sort of dependent on the kid. Like, I have 3 kids. One of them is constantly moving. He's in the gym with me in the morning. He's the younger one, but he's always been this way. It's not because he's younger. He just has a lot of energy and wants to burn it off by moving. The other 2 children don't have as much energy, and it can be a challenge to motivate them. And even when they have like a practice or something, those 2 might use it as an excuse not to do anything the rest of the day. You know, they'll say things like, well, why do I have to go exercise more? I already had practice where I moved. Or I went for that long walk earlier today with the dog. Isn't that enough? And so it's just hard to sort of push through that mentality. My daughter didn't make the basketball team this year, and so this winter she doesn't have a sport this trimester. And so the mandate came down from my wife that you have to do something. You've got to go be active. So go out in the garage, go figure some exercise out with your father. And so in that context, you know, doing something active for her can feel like punishment, you know? And me, being the guy who has to enforce that punishment, it's not a great situation.
You kids are soft. You lack discipline. Well, I've got news for you. You're mine now. You belong to me. You're not gonna have your mommies run behind you anymore and wipe your little douches. Oh no, it's time now to turn this mush into muscles.
And so it's a fine line between trying to encourage movement and at the same time not making it feel like punishment or something with a ton of negative energy around it. I mean, that's the last thing you want, is to create a bunch of negative energy around food or body image issues or training or whatever. So it is a fine line, and there have been times when the kids just aren't into it and we want them to move anyway, where I've come across as kind of like a drill sergeant, and it's not a good look.
There is no bathroom.
Last spring I did sort of push the boys, because they were somewhat interested. I did push the boys into doing a 5x5 kind of strength-based linear progression program that I wrote. It was super basic. We were just going to see over the course of 8 weeks how much they could lift at the end of the 8 weeks on a single rep of deadlifts. So that's all we did. We trained deadlifts twice a week. We did 5 sets of 5. They were really into it at the beginning when the weights were light, but as we kept adding weights, I had to keep enticing them with things, and at the end of the day, I even instituted a cash prize for the person who could lift the most percentage of their body weight. And so it became a struggle, and we ended up, sort of peaking and getting up to a single 1 rep max. And on that day, so there were 2 points when they were excited about it: the very beginning of the program, and then on the last day when we were just doing, working up to that one heavy single, and they got to really get excited about the competition and things like that. So the in-between time, all the grinding, was the not fun part for them. And it ended up being pretty good. I've got some videos from in the spring showing, their max efforts. The younger one, he weighed like 60 pounds, I think, at the time, and he lifted 110 pounds eventually. And it was deadlifts on the high handles, so the range of motion's pretty small. It was hex bar deadlifts on the high handles. Not very much range of motion, but that it doesn't matter. I mean, the cool part about it for them was knowing that they could lift up something heavy and that they could take that number and go tell their friends about it, and it was an impressive number. So for the younger one, he lifted 110 pounds. The older of the two, he lifted 195 pounds, and he's only 105 pounds of body weight, so that was a pretty good number as well, and he was pretty excited about it. And he was, I think, he's just 10 at the time, so that's a pretty good number for a 10-year-old. So after that program, and after we peaked and had our competition, and I called it a tie, they both got money. It was more about just being proud of them for finishing the whole program. But after that, I haven't really pushed them on working on any other lifting. The plan from here is to not do that ever again, and then just to model positive fitness behavior, model good nutrition, and then if they want to get stronger or they want to get leaner later on, they'll come to me and they'll ask me. And it's already started to happen. I guess I'm surprised by who came to me first, but just about a month ago, the youngest said he wants to get stronger. Now, he's only 8.5 years old. So in figuring out how to program something for him, I gotta be pretty cautious. His bone structure is still developing, but there's no reason to think that he can't do high rep sets of something with very light weight, just to learn the movements and to get his body sort of to understand the movements. And I'm not trying to specialize in any specific lift or anything like that. So just getting him to move his body in a certain way, just getting him familiar with the squat form and deadlifts and overhead press and things like that. And so he started to do that. We got 2 days of actual lifting. So we do squats and overhead press on one day, we do deadlifts and bench press on the other day, and we also do some accessory sort of, rows or lunges, things that he likes to do as well. So we're doing that on 2 days, and then the third day we do like a strongman Saturday, I guess I've been calling it, and I put some videos on the Instagram about it. But really it's a team-based CrossFit style partner workout, and it usually involves a sled where we get to sort of rest while one person pushes the sled, one person sits in the sled, and then the other person rests, and it's fun because we're all involved. And then we do some every minute on the minute workouts where we do some farmers walks every minute on the minute, and they seem to like that because we're all doing it together, and it's on a timer, and they kind of like all that. It's very exciting. There's a lot of energy involved, and that's something I usually don't get because I'm lifting weights alone in the morning. So it is kind of fun to have that going on Saturdays. So we're doing that, team-based workouts, and like most things with kids, they really enjoy it while they're doing it. Even the ones that are sort of lacking motivation usually, when they're doing it, they're having a good time, they're into it, but it's just really about convincing them to get started on it that is the hard part. And so getting them from the warm, cozy comfort of their couch where they've got a book or they're next to the fire or whatever. For my daughter, I mean, she loves to use the excuse of homework. She would sit at her desk all day without moving at all, not moving even a little bit if she could. And so it's hard to sort of get her motivated, but once she's into it, and she's competitive, and she wants to beat the boys and to show them that she's just as strong or whatever. But it's just about getting her out there that's the hard part.
This house is a fucking prison!
On planet bullshit!
In the galaxy of this sucks camel dicks!
I think that's probably an exaggerated version of how we all feel at certain times with our fitness and training goals. Something we never really grow out of. You have to just sort of push through it, right? So this morning is a good example. I didn't feel like getting up this morning. I didn't sleep very well last night. I knew that I had a grind of a training session with several high rep sets of squats that I wasn't looking forward to. And so it was hard. It was harder than usual to get up. But this was the only chance I had to get this training session done. And then if I didn't get this training session done, I knew that it would have a domino effect on future training sessions and my week would be kind of screwed up. So there was the motivation. I needed to get out of bed, and just, it's basic physics, right? So objects in motion tend to stay in motion. Objects at rest tend to stay at rest, right? It's basic inertia. And that first step, taking that first step, is much harder in the wintertime when it's cold and when the blankets are warm, and the minute you get out, you know it's going to be a frigid garage situation where you got to do a lot of warm up to get going, and so it can be hard to take that first step. But you got to hold yourself accountable. The basic message is just to stay motivated, appreciate that you're healthy enough to train and you've solved enough of your basic needs such that you can debate with yourself over voluntary exercise. So with that, I'll leave it there. Hope you guys are having a good week. As always, keep it on the DL. Time doesn't wait. You gotta get up, gotta get after it if you want to train. Gotta get out of bed and get moving and make it happen. And still gotta get up and train. It's not the end of the world. I always want to train when I am awake, but sometimes getting up is hard. I'm not any worse for the wear, and sometimes it takes a little extra to get out of bed, but I could have used that as an excuse. If I don't get myself up, no one's gonna do it for me, so sometimes that's what it takes. You gotta just, I don't know, you have to get out of bed, make it happen, because really no one's gonna do it for you. Alright?